Welcome, everybody, to the Mind, Body, and Soul television show coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. I'm your host, Coach Steve Todt, and also the founder of Conscious Evolution Media. We have a great show for you, as always, this evening on this beautiful Friday evening. We are streaming on YouTube Live, as well as Hangouts, and at consciousevolutionmedia.com. We have been around for 12 years now, more than 15,000 shows, and we are no longer counting. We have some incredible guests with us this evening. We're going to have a dialogue with them one at a time. And the first guest that we're going to have is Shadow Fox, and she's joining us from the East Coast. And she's an author, a hypnotherapist, a Reiki master, and many, many other things that we're going to find out during the show. But most importantly, the first question I have for you, welcome to the show, Shadow Fox, by the way.
Oh, thank you so very much. This is a great honor. Thank you, Steve.
You're well welcome. The first question is, I take away all your titles. I take away hypnotherapist, Reiki master, and anything that anybody has ever called you. If I take them all away, if I had that power, which I don't, but if I do, let's just pretend, what's left? Who is really Shadow Fox?
I am a being of light, and my major purpose is to radiate that light and enliven others.
Awesome. All right, so tell us a little bit about you, just to have our viewers able to relate to you. Tell us just the short version of the story of Shadow Fox. Please don't start at birth.
Okay. Basically, my story is that I was a empathic, intuitive medium as a child, and I recognized many energies. I could see them, I could feel them, and I just recognized very early on what people were actually asking for or praying for. Didn't always manifest the way they actually had envisioned it. And so I just basically spent my life working towards that goal.
Okay, fantastic. So our theme for this evening is how to expand human and spiritual consciousness. And uh, that's not a big order, actually, for our network anymore, because we've been talking about it for 12 years.
Yeah.
But there is always something, someone like yourself, someone that has been involved with consciousness and expansion of consciousness, always brings us something new, and perhaps maybe will bring something new to you as well. So how do you distinguish, like our theme is how to expand human and spiritual consciousness. What's the distinction between human consciousness and spiritual consciousness?
I believe that the spiritual consciousness is an example expressed in thought, and the greater awareness that you actually have on who you are and the energies that are around us um, allows for that greater expansion, because there's many people that believe that, for instance, the universal law of attraction is the biggest thing since sliced bread. But there's cosmic laws that are integrated. It's like a spider's web, and there are nuances to them. And so, whether you're creating yourself, developing self, or you're looking to manifest anything in your life, um, you really gotta. There's certain principles, there's certain things or concepts that can be included in that, and it really makes that happen so much faster for you. The realization of yourself, or if you're actually looking to receive something.
So, Shadowfax, do you believe that we create our own reality?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes, I do.
100%.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how do we do that?
Actually, it is a portion of stabilizing your emotional body. There's much out there where they say emotional intelligence. It's comes under the format of emotional wisdom. and it's knowing the difference between them, to stabilize that so you can go through certain situations in your life and yet still moderate and be stable so that the neutrality that you hold and you are stabilized with is pretty much in a neutral position. So you're not thrown off base so much.
You mean, I'm sometimes reading between the words that you say. So
Okay.
do you mean to say that we're not activating ourselves and each other?
No, I believe we do activate each other. I
But
believe.
what I'm saying is that
Oh,
what you were saying is that where we should be going towards is to not do that.
yes. Not to be to have to actually take action instead of stepping into a reactionary mode.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
So just the work that I've been doing, and it doesn't matter how long I've been doing it, really. I'm finding that most people have no clue what to do with their emotions, and actually, their emotions have them um, completely controlled. They're controlled by their emotions. They don't know how to process it, and they don't really understand that it's there for a reason. They don't understand
Oh,
what is the reason why our emotions are there. What
yes.
would be your feedback about that?
This is a big ocean. Okay. Um, ba- basically, most of that has to do with thought. And it's how much focus and the direction of the thought that you place on that situation, how much energy you're actually giving it. That's part of the equation. Um, I'm trying to express or think about how I can express it in a way because there are so many specific issues emotionally that people face, whether it be relationships or whether it be self-doubt, whether it be anger or even addictions. And these are actually a behavioral aspect for the mind. It's how you're actually thinking about it. When I was a young woman, I recognized that my thoughts had gotten me into these messes, and I could get myself out from these messes by my thoughts.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure. I'm kind of hoping I've answered a little bit of that question because it really is a pretty big ocean on this.
Okay. So maybe what I was driving at is that our emotions perhaps are there, obviously for a purpose, right?
Yeah, for learning, absolutely.
Yeah,
Experience,
and
expression,
so
yes.
for me, and just give me some feedback. So for me, the way I relate to my emotions is that it's really telling me. So I'm going to give you an example. Of, let's say I am a very positive person. Okay.
Hmm.
However, I am not from that camp that I will ignore that there are negative things in the world, and I'm just going
Right,
to be positive, doesn't matter what. Do
right.
you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And when we recognize that we are having these feelings and these emotional boundaries, it is something that you absolutely take a look at and honor because there is a reason for this. There's a reason that perhaps you may be saddened today or on edge. And of course, we can go through and do grounding and so on and so forth. But at the same point in time, especially if there are patterns, um, then definitely that would be in a direction that an individual would be able to take a look at. Um, for instance, there's a part of me that is so ingrained that when I'm looking at creating something, whether a better behavior in myself or a way to react to something as of taking action, would be to create from the abundance that is out here. And what I mean is that there are limiting vibrational words that really keep us wanting and needing. And so those two words, there's quite a few of them, but I personally don't use them because they create from lack. There's two specific um, uh, cosmic laws such as abundance and um, what's the other one now? I just lost my train of thought.
I don't
Abundance
know. I'm not in your
and
head.
yeah, I know. For abundance and such as the law of attraction. So if the law of abundance, for instance, states that there's enough for everyone in the universe without greed, and the universe knows no lack, then if we are saying or thinking with intent that we want um, a better life, we want a new job, we want this, or we need money, or we need this, that's lack because want means lack. And what
It means that we don't
happens,
have it.
right, exactly. So if we don't have it, but yet it's available for the law of
But it's not
abundance,
coming
right,
because we don't have
you're,
it. And what we get more of is not having it.
right, exactly. So if you're stating this as want or need, the universe comes back with stating, okay, you got it. Wham. Now you're wanting and
Here's
continuing to
more of
need
it.
it.
Here's
Yeah.
more of it.
Yeah.
So
And
let me ask you an example. For this is kind of interesting because I think this happens every day,
mhm,
millions of times in the U.S. and of course elsewhere in the world. So let's say you come across somebody that you don't like. Okay, has that happened to you before?
oh, well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't like, but I'd be weary of someone, but go ahead.
Okay.
Because I do see the individual and I do see their light and their possibilities. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well. So do I. But let's say you come across somebody that behaves in a certain way. Um, yeah. Yes. I mean, I think you're from a camp, and I'm from a camp that
mhm,
um, I I can see everybody's light and everybody. I see them as their possibilities and as their potential, and as absolute positive potentiality and possibility. That's how I see them.
uh-huh.
But in the moment, when I'm having an experience with them, they don't show up really in the physical experience that I'm having with them. They're not showing up that way. And
Right.
let me give you, maybe I'll give my own examples. I'll walk the talk instead of
Okay.
put you on the hot seat. So I have to work with somebody that is from New York, and his attitude sometimes rubbed me the wrong way because I remember when I lived in New York
Mhm,
and people were very cold, very impatient,
mhm.
and I guess I could say rude.
Rude works pretty good. Cold. Mhm.
Yeah. And
I
so
live
this
there.
person reminds me why I left New York.
Right.
So is this, and of course, what we like to do as human beings is to say, this is all his fault
Mhm.
because he's in my life and he's not pleasing me by being different. I want him to be different, but he won't be different. He's just going to be the way he is. And that just really pisses me off. So what's my choice?
Well, what I personally do in those situations is I recognize where my vibrational energy is and I choose not to match his or hers.
Okay.
Um, and again, that is just being aware of energy. I can recognize that perhaps and we could even go into karma or past lives, however you would like to appreciate it, for different experiences. But when a person enters my um, field of influence, so to speak,
Yeah.
is that I can recognize that immediately. You can see them coming a mile away. And the number one thing is I try to stay back from judgment simply because there's a mirror image, which means that there's a reflection, and it may not be the truest portion, but it means that I recognize a portion of what they are representing or presenting themselves as. Um, and so I know there's a part of me in there, and I choose not to identify with that.
Okay, got it. So the way I process it is
Hmm.
that I'm noticing that he's doing something or saying something or whatever's going on, and I'm feeling an emotion, and the emotion is I'm not feeling good about it.
Right.
It
Uh-huh.
feels negative to me. Okay.
Right.
And the
Right.
way I process it is I remind myself that I really love this person
Yep.
because underneath all of that, he's a beautiful person. And I'm going to attempt to distract myself from this not feeling good feeling by either finding something that I can feel really good about in the moment, or just distract myself, let's say by listening to music or doing something else that gets me out of that energy. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also do this, just like you have suggested, whether it be music, you're changing the thought, you've identified possibly a very strong emotional feeling. And when that usually happens to me, I will definitely take a look. I will honor that feeling in a heartbeat. That gets my attention immediately. Um, and so in that process of how I actually work through that is that I recognize it, I honor it, I allow it, and I integrate it. I allow it to just dissipate. Just like the charge, you have a positive, you have a negative, and I visualize it. It's a technique that I do. It's just visualization, and I just take that heated charge and bring it back to neutral. Because in doing so, I recognize that um, that can cause harm to me also,
Yes.
because I don't care for that feeling, but
Mhm.
I can definitely assimilate. Definitely.
So I guess I didn't say this part is that, and this is what I think you and I also want the viewers to get, is that whatever activated something in me about
Hmm.
him
Hmm.
um, is all about me, and it's not really about him.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not, there's no blame. There's no
Yeah,
blame, and that's the number one thing, because we are all connected, and all as it is just a greater awareness and
yeah.
another example, and like a lesson, so that we can stretch our muscles and recognize that here's another opportunity that's presented itself that I can work through and become a brighter person.
And this is really what we call consciousness, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's an opportunity to expand ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's like going to a new level. Hey,
Yep.
I can get this squared away so that the next time he shows up, however he wants to show up, I can just accept him just the way he is and love him,
Yes.
and I'm not going to get activated by anything he does or say.
That's right. And I usually like to give a blessing and say thank you so much for the challenges
It's a
that have
gift, isn't it?
just placed before me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because some of the greatest adversaries, and the ones that people that present themselves, that trigger those pain sensors, they are our greatest teachers. They truly are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And isn't it funny that, I mean, what's the divorce rate in America? Like 54%? Isn't it funny that we people get together and we marry each other, and then we end up in a divorce because we are unable to accept these gifts that we give each other for expansion. We rather
Yes.
run.
Yeah, exactly. And see, here's a few little things. I mean, even with relationships, marriage, or anything else, I think maybe a key element, and this is something, it's not a mandatory. It's something that maybe people can consider, is that one of the things that I've kind of looked at, again, because I deal in energy, but our expectations. And expectations are placed, whether they're actually stated or implied. And with an expectation, what that actually results in is that another human being has to modify their behavior. Um, and I will give you an example.
Yeah.
For instance, a person would say, um, "Oh, do you expect your husband to be home right after work? Or do you expect your husband or wife to show you love and affection by doing such and such?" And my answer to that is I hold no expectation of my husband. I can anticipate him home at 5 o'clock, for instance. He could anticipate me making dinner. Now, his choice to be coming home at 5 o'clock is up to him. It's also up to me if I make dinner or not. And so when he comes home at 5 o'clock, I am just so elated he's home. I'm exuberant and I'm happy. And if I have dinner on the table, he's hungry and it's a delicious meal. And it's because we're giving of ourselves freely without that expectation, because that's where pressure is put on. Um, and I think this concept sometimes does create a little friction, because this is something that is in our normal language. This is something that most people expect. And so I'm suggesting to hold back on expectations. There's other softer, gentler words that carry very creative um, vibrational energy, just like want and need. Um, if I were to say to you, and let's go to the use of words, because here's where expectations come in. The end result, and this is a key for cancer. And yes, I can speak on cancer. It's in my family. But when people are recognizing and they see these ads and it says, give and join, or give and help us fight cancer. Well, to me, fight creates friction. And in a longer and more beautiful vibrational
It
energy,
creates more cancer.
yeah, exactly. And so why not eliminate cancer? Send us money, or eradicate it, or let's heal it,
Why
cure it.
not? Why not? Why not? Don't talk about it
Exactly,
in that way.
exactly, exactly. And that's what keeps that energy continuing on. And it's just it when you recognize how powerful words are, and recognize what words we're utilizing and where the intent and the focus and the purpose and the
It's very
agenda
important.
is.
Words are
Yeah,
very important. And
very.
I totally agree with you. But I'm finding something that's even more important than words. And
Mhm.
and give me some feedback on this. So
Sure.
what I'm finding is, yes, words are important, but what I found is a lot of times what people say and who they are being is two different things.
Oh, absolutely.
What's
Abs-
even more important is our vibration. Like,
yes.
what are we really putting out there into the universe? What, for example, um, if I'm vibrating at 104.3 FM and somebody's vibrating at 6:30 a.m.,
Uh-huh.
they're not going to get me at all.
Right.
The reason you
Exactly.
and I can have this dialogue is because I vibrate at a very similar frequency you do.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And your heart chakra, oh, I just love you. I just love
Well,
you.
I love you. I love you too.
And I just think, and I really thank you for this opportunity, because if there's something that either you or I have said in this discussion, even just one small little thing that gets somebody that's just on the verge, just
That turns
ready.
on the light bulb, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
why I
And
do
it's
this. I
just
mean,
to igni-
I
yeah,
cannot begin to tell you of the 12 years that I've been doing this, and I'm going to do it for the rest of my living life.
Oh,
How
great.
many times I repeat myself? And you know what? I don't care
Yep. Yep.
because I'm hoping that somebody will listen and they
Uh-huh.
hearing it for the first time, even that maybe I said it for the 10,000 times. Doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right, exactly. It's just, you know what this reminds me of is that we're some like a rock star and they have this music and they just go out and they replay and get up on a
Mhm.
stage and they go somewhere else and they're repeating.
Oh, sure, sure.
But
Yeah, we're repeating, but we're playing different songs, different versions of
absolutely.
songs because
Yes.
you're different. Okay, so
Yes.
maybe I'm the same because I'm the host of the show, but all the
Uh-huh.
people that I bring on are all different. They come from different backgrounds. They,
Yes.
vibrate at different frequencies. They may have hopefully got rid of all of the beliefs that they took on by somebody else. How often do you find that, by the way, um, today, where people are having all these beliefs and they're not even theirs?
They're not. It's because it's been taught to them. They kind of, you grow your kid is born and you either nursing them or you put a bottle in their mouth and their religion and beliefs have already been established just when they draw breath. Um, and again, that is the cultural programming, the political programming, all of the above. And the thing is that one it, at some point in your life, whether trauma hits in some form or fashion, that most people kind of step back and little by little they inch ahead and they question, why do I have this belief, or what makes it so, or why did this person say that? I think very quickly, I if I have a second, is when I was about 9 years old. My mother was very sick with cancer. They four-stage colon cancer. They had given her a 2% survival rate, and I knew early on that when everybody was praying or they were asking, and it's always good intent, but things just never really, the results were never what how people had desired them to be, and I recognized that, and so I basically um, created my own with my mother, and I just didn't care to be here with these cruel people. And so I sent a prayer, and that prayer was answered because there was a purpose. And I knew that as a child. And so, in doing so, there's certain steps, there's certain ways that you can ask and implement and your intent. So, with that, that's if my mother lived. She made it against all odds.
Well,
She
sure,
made
because
it.
we have the power to hear ourselves because
Yes.
we made ourselves sick to begin with.
Yes, yes, and I directly linked right in with her, her higher self or soul level. There's a couple of different ways you can think about it. Um, but that's what I did as a child with nothing but the most purest love you could possibly imagine. And I remember questioning, doesn't everybody do this?
No.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That was the major question, and that's where really I started on my path. And then I had to figure out and go the complete opposite way and throw everything away just so I could see the darkness.
Well, so I know that's something that really fascinates people. This, right now, something that comes up over and over and over is manifestation and how to manifest.
Yes.
What could you tell us about what's the process for people to? It's kind of funny that I even bring this up because I feel that everybody already knows how to
Of
manifest
course.
because they're doing it already.
Oh, yes. They are doing it, and what they're creating is they're not happy with the result. And that's
Right.
why they have pain and sorrow and their reaction when tragedy hits. Um, I guess very short and in a nutshell, there are specifically 10 steps, and there are three major concepts behind it. And it's not just encompassing like one law of attraction. We're talking some cosmic influences in here, and there are nuances to it. And I gave you guys a nuance on with words, the power of words. Um, so I mean, I could get into it, but that's kind of what's in the book. Does that
Which
help?
which book do you have this information in?
This is the
The
book is
Won't
called,
Not
yeah, Want Not
Be
and Be
Open to
Open to
Receive.
Receive by Shadow Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So I was actually just going to say that isn't it interesting that I think almost everybody, not almost, I think everybody knows really why they came here. They just not they just forgot
Yes,
temporarily,
absolutely.
but they know, and then they are actually moving the opposite direction of why they came.
Yes, because most people are unaware of how to self-validate, and it's kind of one of the things. It's like somebody has an argument with someone at work or with a spouse, family member, or somebody. Okay, so there's some friction there, and a person would go along and say, go to their best friend and say, "This is what happened. Blah, 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 blah. What do you think?" And then they go to someone else and blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And they're getting everybody's opinion. But
It doesn't matter what they think.
right, if they took 5 seconds and just counted to 10 and paid attention, they'd have their answer. And it's not relying or relying on mediums, for
They
instance.
already know what the answer is.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's just, and you and I and many of the great thinkers out there share this information in the roadmaps and the steps involved. And this is how we've done it, or this is how it's helped us. And we're all coming together and sharing that information. And I think it's beautiful.
What others think is none of our business.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, Shadow Fox, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being on the network. We're going to have to do this again because I have a feeling
Oh,
that there's a lot more wisdom there, tons more wisdom there that we'd like
tons.
to get out to the rest of the
Yes.
world. And
Yes.
coming summertime here in 2016, we'll be on a major social TV network that I think is
Ooh.
going to help all of us to get this message out into every household. And it's about time. It is so much time.
It is.
I can't even begin to tell you. I
It
am
it
so sick of commercial television. It has run its course, and it has run a lot of people into the ground.
it truly has. And with what you're doing here, it allows individuals to come in and share. And it's like, we're teachers of the teachers, and everybody teaches. Everybody shares something. We always learn.
Mhm.
I am so grateful and so thankful for what you are doing. Truly thankful.
Thank you, Shadow Fox. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom, and I can't wait to hear more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's get Lee Two Hawks on.
Yes. Okay, hold on one
Thank you
moment.
so
He's
much.
coming on. Thank you, dear. Okay, here you go.
We're doing musical chairs today.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Lee Two Hawks. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Let me get adjusted here. There we
Sure.
go.
We're just proving that anything is possible, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what if technology didn't work? We'll figure it out another way.
Exactly, and you did that. Thank you for that.
So Lee Two Hawks, thank you for being on the network, and I just want to introduce you to formally to everybody that Lee Two Hawks is a medium, also a healer, and I'm sure many other things. But I'm going to ask you the same question I asked your wife, which is if I had the power to take all those titles away, which I don't, but temporarily let's pretend that I can. If I take all the titles away that anybody has ever called you in your life, what's left? Who is really Lee Two Hawks?
Damned if I know. No, I'm teasing.
You'll send me a text.
Yeah, I'll send
Is
you a
that your
text.
final answer?
No, it's not. It's not my final answer. I take the fifth.
Okay.
No, I am I'm a person who has walked a very long walk. I came out of the sewer into radiance. I give gratitude for every breath I take. When I sit on the toilet, I thank my bowels for doing the proper job. I thank my body for its healing mechanisms. I thank the air. I thank the earth. I thank the people on this earth, the 7.3 billion of them. I thank every one of them for taking this opportunity to be on this earth at this time, which is a phenomenal time.
We are so lucky, aren't we?
We are exceedingly lucky. And
we are at the leading edge of some incredible things going on right now.
And there's so much people don't realize, and that's fine, as long as they can grasp this opportunity to be kind, patient, loving, considerate, etc., irregardless of adversity.
So as I am connecting with you, Lethal Hawks, I'm immediately I have this special interest regarding mediumship. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, number one, I'd like to say to you, if I may, and it's not pejorative by any means, but what I'd like to say is thank you for coming out of your insular self into a greater identity, and I'm sure you recognize what I'm talking about. So that's
Sure.
what I see. Across the miles.
I mean, I also came out of the sewer, I could say, because I born into a communist country, and boy, was that really stinky.
Yes, I can't really imagine. I can't really imagine, but yes, constriction and tyranny do not belong on this earth plane at this time, for certain. And we must do everything we can do to ameliorate and mediate those horrible energies that are so profound in their effect on people, and a negative effect at that.
So do you, in terms of your mediumship, so help me just understand, if you're willing. If you're not, that's fine. Do you connect with some stream of energy that speaks through you? Is that what you do?
It's not only connecting with the energy. When I go to a mall where there are groupings of people, I shut it down because it becomes excessive, it becomes overwhelming. And then perhaps if somebody sits down for a reading, I switch it back on. That works most of the time. There are high impact situations where it doesn't work, and I've learned to moderate those. I feel the energy. I see the auric eminence of people, and there's also a feeling that I get, which indicates certain patterns of behavior. Or let me say this: I'm an elder, and I have, through time, been given the right by other elders in my younger years to give a naming to people if they requested a sacred name. When I see people, I see potential. I see where they could be, where they should be. I see a massive beauty around and I don't care who it is, around everybody. What happens is when I know them better, they are nowhere near that potential. And it's been my desire to raise that energy to the point where they can meet themselves at a higher dimension.
Wow, that's fantastic. So 2 years ago, Lethal Hawks, I was called to take this work of the consciousness work that I've been working on. This is never going to be over. There's no place to get to.
Was
But
that
I was called to take this into corporate America.
Ah.
And boy, am I having the time of my life.
Yeah. Was that a call from the president or what?
No, that was a call. That was a call from out there, from the
Yes,
universe.
I know. I
was told that, hey, Steve, you've been doing this because basically, this network was born out of, I don't know if you knew this, but maybe some people would want to know that are watching as well. It was born out of me curing myself from 2 addictions. And I basically locked myself up into a 12 by 12 room. And I said, I'm giving up those 2 things right now, but I need something I need to focus on something and put my energy into something that I'm very passionate about, something that I wanted all my life. And that's basically how I'm going to cure myself, is that I will not have time, and I'm not even interested in doing those things anymore. But that's how this network was born, is that I basically become a monk and created a monk television network where I didn't actually go out into the world. I truly locked myself up. I called the leasing company of my car and told them to come here and take it away, because I don't need to go anywhere. And so that's how this whole network was born. And 2 years ago, I just got this message that I've done enough of this, and it's gotten as far as it could get right now. I need to take it out into the world. And what better place to take it to than corporate America? So what I decided to do is Mark Twain wrote this book about a king that didn't like all the people that were around him and what they were telling him about how the country was doing. He wanted to see it himself. So he took his crown off, changed his clothing, put himself into a peasant clothes, and went out into the country and interacted with people so that he could hear it firsthand. And that's what I'm doing. That's where I got the idea. I went into corporate America, and they don't know all this stuff that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But I'm just being, the conscious human being that I am, and I still have a lot to learn and grow. But I'm just putting out this energy and this frequency and see what effect, it's making. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, you have become an exemplar. As an analogy, people are often in an emotional lockdown, and they have put themselves in there not for 2 years but for a lifetime, due to previous traumas, previous incidents, an inability to work with or to deal with, or to somehow they become atrophied, emotionally atrophied, and that creates such a havoc in their relational issues, irregardless of family, mate, or otherwise, even their children. And it has long been my desire to bring these people out of that emotional lockdown. And there are ways of doing that, which I teach, et cetera, et cetera. And also once you get to that point where you can manifest an emotional equilibrium, then you can work towards what we always call in this field, the metaphysical field, balance and harmony. And my entire intent is to bring unity, synthesis, and syncretic view. A syncretic view just means that you try to bring different philosophies, different religions, different cultures together in a working consortium. And that has been my desire and where I've been trying to go and work with and work towards.
Fantastic. So I'm actually finding myself really from going from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum.
Isn't it glorious?
I am just in this journey where I'm kind of coming into the middle. You know what I mean? That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And that's in the Indian culture, we have what we call the red road and the blue road. The red road is the path we travel in our everyday walk. And you may reach the point where all of a sudden what you have here is not enough. And then you come to the blue road, which is vertical and leads upwards. And then you walk on the blue road, and it's similar to what's called the razor edge path. In order to elevate your consciousness, bring your awareness into greater clarity, bring your heart into calmness, and bring your mind into a beautiful place where nothing can alter your progress.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not there, but
Well,
but I
me neither.
consider this an accomplishment, which is I've been able to quiet my mind. Oh my God, what an accomplishment that is! I don't even have words to describe it. Like, it was such an incredible. It happened about, I would say, a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
that I was, for the first time. I mean, I've been able to quiet my mind for short periods of time, but not for hours, days, and weeks. And I am now able to do that. Like as I'm having this dialogue with you, Litu Hawks, I don't have chatter going on in my head.
Yeah, we all, so many people work with a fragmented mentality. And to bring that fragmentation into an entirety is a lot of work. And you're working at that. You're doing that. And good for you. I'm curious though, what brought you that intent to do so?
I don't think anything. It just happened one day. And when that happened, I was actually be able to, for the first time, really connect to how beautiful everything is. Because I didn't have all the distraction, I could actually, for the first time, really hear the birds singing. And I could really see people. Everything seemed beautiful. As soon as my mind went quiet, I felt really connected to source, whatever that may be. I just felt everything. I felt, okay, here's how I can describe it. You know, before that, I was in love or fell in love a few times in my life. That feeling when I remember the times when I fell in love, everything was beautiful and nothing mattered. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. And
that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. And good. I congratulate you on doing that. I congratulate you on your effort, because it is an effort to do so. And you took the time and you took the energy to do it. So,
but I
like
didn't have to give my attention to someone else to be able to feel that.
Right.
I could actually give the attention to myself for the first time and feel that. So I guess I was falling in love with me.
And that's what starts the whole ball rolling. Because unless we can, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, unless you can,
it feels so good, I haven't stopped ever since.
Unless you can love yourself, you truly have a truncated love otherwise. Because the more you love yourself, the more you're able to give, and the more you're able to extend your reach. You comment, maybe it's a Taoist belief, I'm not certain, but most people walk around, their world is the extent of their reach, of their arms sticking outwards. And what you've done is you've expanded that reach to include a community of people, and good for you. Yeah, and that, like I said, that you have become an exemplar, a person of example, person to look at, a mentor, so to speak, to others.
Yeah, well, I'm still I still have stuff going on. I still, it's like I'm still a human being, and I still got stuff happening that I need to remind myself, remember.
Well, of course, yeah, of course
you had, who I am.
You had prior to that years and years and years of acculturation and a different pattern of thinking. Now you're changing a pattern.
Totally different.
You're changing a pattern of thinking, and it takes a lot of work. And good for you.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by the titles of these books, both of them. So the first one is "Want Not" and "Be Open to Receive." Okay, and so
that is Shadow Foxes. Yes.
Help us with the interpretation of that title: "Want Not" and "Be Open to Receive."
I believe she expressed that in the use of the words "want," don't use it; "not," okay, and "need," don't require it. And "be open to receive" means being open to receive better information, clarity of thought, purity of heart, patience, kindness, love, generosity, all those attributes that are so lacking in a world of conflict. And that's what "to receive," I believe. Am I correct in that, Shadow Fox? Yes. Okay. She nods her head. Yes.
Okay. So do you mean open to receive? Do you mean be open to receive all the goodness that we were always supposed to be receiving? We've just been putting roadblocks up. Is that what you mean?
That's it. That's exactly correct. There's much out there of energy that comes from different places beyond the sphere of the Earth, beyond the sphere of the solar system, that are impacting humanity at this time in a greater intensity. Few people can receive that energy because it's a vibrational mismatch. If you're at that level of that energy, you can receive it. If you are blocked, if you are nuanced with negativity, you are unable to receive it. It just bounces you off and goes back to its source. And by the way, you mentioned this term source for whatever it is that created all the majesty that is. And that's my term as well, the source.
So I got to ask you this, Lethal Hogs, do you believe that in order for us to really get on this path, like I remember when I wasn't awake, I was a very negative person. Like if you knew me back then, I would say I saw, you know, if this was full of water, I would see it half empty, even if it was full. I would see it half empty.
I'd rather be a glass of vodka, but okay.
and I completely shifted, you know, from the other side. And so I made a big mess out of my life. But do you feel that, or do you know that it's almost like this is this a necessity so that we can really understand, like I was attempting to have this dialogue with your wife about that there's two ends to everything, and you can't take away negativity or ignore it, because without the negativity there is no positive, and without the positive there's no negative. So we got to embrace both, right?
Yes, that's accurate. The trick is being able to find out a point to use the negativity to enlarge your positivity, to learn the wisdom of what you've been taught. And Shadow Fox talked on that. The worst adversities we have are indeed our greatest teachers. It's just a matter of being open to receive that nuance.
Yeah, and don't get stuck. Like I got stuck in the negativity because I didn't know any different. I got stuck in there. And I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be watching this show will understand that, you know, they getting stuck too. So the only difference really that I feel between me and who I used to be, or people that are stuck in negativity, is that I am more intentional. I have made my well-being to be number one. There is nothing more important in my life. And I do have kids and grandkids, but I made my well-being to be number one.
Yes, and the thing of it is, I mean, you can be intentional, be a very bastard son of a bitch, or you can be intentional to do what you did. And you chose the correct path, which a lot of people should be choosing, that of getting out. And this is what we teach, Shadow Fox and myself teach in our programs. This is what we try to, I always call it, Shadow Fox is much better at this because she breaks it down into a language people understand. I'm an abstract thinker, so I use big words because to me, a word encompasses an entire meaning. All right.
That's okay. We're getting a taste of both.
Yeah, okay.
No worries.
And
the soup is going to have all the ingredients. It's going to be a great soup.
Well, let's hope, and let's hope there is a feast at the table for everybody. Indeed, yeah. To use that, extend that metaphor. Okay?
So let me clarify intentional. So what I meant being intentional is that I constantly pay attention within myself. Am I feeling good or am I not feeling good? And what's important to me, that I feel good, because when I feel good and I feel joyful and I feel happy, I am in love again. And guess what? Everybody else seems to be in love with me and everything else. My creation and my world is awesome when I can do that.
Yeah, and it's exactly what I mean. You learn to love yourself. You can extend that infinitely around the globe. Yep. You can embrace all that is in a loving manner, even the worst tragedies, even the harshest traumas, even the most horrible adversities. And once you do that, you will find that walk of harmony and balance to a great extent.
Yeah, awesome. So let's look at the second book. The second book is Ageless Wisdom versus the Winds of Lunacy. Fantastic title. Oh my God.
I love that title.
Lunacy. Okay. Help us interpret. It's almost like, when you go to look at beautiful paintings, somebody has to interpret them for us. Not really. But are you the author of this book?
I am, yes.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So I am talking to the person that can give us the answer. I want to make sure that I get this out to everybody on the network. Don't talk to people that don't have the power to give you what you're looking for.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm talking to the guy that wrote it, so he knows.
Okay, as I'm certain you recognize, ancient wisdom been around since the beginning of Homo sapiens. And it has been passed down through the age, oftentimes in secret, because of a lot of nasty things trying to drive it out. And as it's passed down, and as much as I've studied, I've given my interpretation to that wisdom. And hopefully it is an accurate interpretation. The versus is the lunacy, the winds of lunacy that pass through people, and they allow it to grip them, that negativity, that cruelty, that anger, that beast that comes out. What I call it is the animal man, as opposed to the spiritual man. And that to me is
You
the
mean
winds
being
of
a
lunacy.
bitch and being an asshole?
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
We can do this. This is not commercial television. The FCC is not listening.
I've got an asshole, but I hope I'm not one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't read that energy with you at all.
No.
Yeah.
But my basic path since going into that brilliance, what I call it the brilliance, going into that calmness, that bringing out those things. I like you. If I walked in the bar when I was 20 years old, I'd just soon hit you as look at you. And I drank for 15 years. I had a very harsh childhood, exceedingly harsh, and a lot of people have. And mine, I'm certain more people have had it even harsher than I. And so I crawled in that pit. I was in that 12 by 12 room, eventually feeling myself out. And my first edict that came to my brain, whispered in my ear, was do no harm. And I made that my passion. And that's what I've been working on since that time, and using the tools that we teach. And that's why we know why to teach them. Both Shadow Fox and I have worked through the adversities in our life to the greatest extent possible. There's always the onion with the many layers of peel. And if we think we got it, the next layer comes up. But we've learned how to work with it, fortunately.
So I'm curious, Little Hawks, is this wisdom that you're speaking of, is it coming from the Indian tribes that used to occupy this beautiful country?
They had a portion of that, of honoring all things, the tall standing ones, which are trees, the rocks, the air, the animals. They would bless the animal once they had killed it and give them gratitude for their sacrifice. The fires that warmed their teepees, the things they were taught with the pipe and with lodges and things that helped them to purify and clarify their energies. That's a portion of it, yes, very much so. However, there's so much more. Learning about the 7 bodies we carry as human entities, learning about the etheric form that surrounds us in each and every individual and its function in the energetic physical body, and learning about the possibilities, actual possibilities, and the greatness we can be as humans. It just astounds me. And
yeah, I want you to touch on that. Give us some examples of what you feel, because I feel that the reason why we are all here is to create new things. It's like this thing, this phone, this smartphone was a thought in somebody's head at first, and from thought they manifested it, and now here it is, and everybody on the planet now has one. And it's unlimited in terms of what we can create. So how do you see the future of humanity with being awake and being conscious? What are the things that you can see in the foreseeable future that we could be doing?
I'll give you the very abstract answer. Eventually, if we come into the consciousness that we should be, and which is highly possible in this new energy that's coming to Earth, if we truly move into even 2/5 of the 7.3 billion people, raise their consciousness to a level of awareness greater than where they're at now, then eventually, in who knows, a million years, we will be a library for other beings on other planets and other galaxies to come and see how we did it. So we can be an example, the exemplar for all of creation.
Okay, so I gotta share this with you. So in a way, these 5 senses that we all believe in on this planet
are minimal.
I'm kind of bored with it.
Yeah, it's minimal.
I need some more. Not that I need it. I would like to experience things like remote viewing, things like, and I used to be able to do this when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I used to be able to think of my friend, and the next thing I knew, he or she either called me or I ran into him at the next corner.
Yeah, all these
I
things
don't know
are
what to call that, but
yeah,
whatever it is.
all these things are available to us. Things as walking through walls, things of bilocation, things of remote viewing. It is a ability that is at this time dormant in most people. In fact, most everybody. But it is there and a potential for each and every human on the earth. But to get there, we must remove the negativity and advance into the greatness of who we are. And in that, the lessons will be taught. Shadow Fox keeps pointing to her watch. Are we bad on time?
Yeah. I just can't stop because it's so good.
Okay. Well, it was okay with you. Yeah. I mean, the greatest sense I get, I love the feeling of touch, and when I pick my nose, it's such a joy.
Well, but you see, some of the things that are happening with me is like I'm becoming more interested in the unseen, the untouched, the unheard. I am experiencing, and I speak several languages, and I'm experiencing this dilemma that some of the experiences that I'm having, I don't have words for them. It's like I'm experiencing things that, like, if I go back to Europe and I would try to have this show, I mean, I have entertained it before to do it in Hungary, but I don't have the words in Hungarian to have a dialogue like this. I just don't have them.
Well, what you ought to do is put your words into music, because music is the universal language.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Oh, great.
That will be really easy. Thank you. Yeah. Problem solved.
Yeah, the
All
thing
right,
of it is, if we as humans can learn to release dominion, the idea that we have to dominate everything, the thing that we have to control every item, every beast, every other person in our purview, it's such a ridiculous concept. And yeah, I know the Bible says something about it, but guess what? The Bible was misinterpreted by some of the people who translated it on down the line. So it has a lot of beautiful things that are accurate in it, and it's profound in its reach.
There are a lot of not beautiful things that are not accurate.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. Okay.
I knew that. That's why I said it.
Okay.
I knew that. That's why I said it. You kind of assumed it, yes.
Yeah, but it does teach about the attributes that are so knocked down in this particular culture and that we live in, and those are the things of people are perceived when they're kind, when they are generous, when they are loving, as weak, and that is so wrong. And that's where the people who want to wish to dominate step in and say, aha, I caught my rabbit. And therefore put their energy in order to subdue or somehow distract you or I expressing those attributes, those virtues, so that they can feel more in line with you because they don't see how they can possibly be that way. So they want to bring you to their level by knocking you down. And when you're strong and when you're capable as you are, that's fine. It ain't going to happen. Right?
Absolutely not. I don't even feel comfortable in a church. I just don't.
Oh, thank you. No, my church is when I walk out the door.
I go in a church and I have to turn around and come out because I just can't stay there. Something is off. Whatever it is, doesn't even matter. It's off.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So talk about your website, and can you talk about any of some of the stuff that's coming up? You guys are working on some really awesome seminars, or is there anything that you want to announce?
Yeah. Let me.
Or is Shadow Fox that needs to do it?
Shadow Fox. I know barely how to turn the computer on. Okay. So
I want to acknowledge you, Lee Two Hawks, for being on the network and being on the show. You're an incredible person. I mean, I only had a half hour with you, but oh my God. Same thing with Shadow Fox. You two have incredible wisdom. Incredible wisdom.
Hopefully we can do this again and have a good laugh and enjoy each other's company. And the people out there.
It's been a lot of fun.
I thank the people out there for being here. And are you ready? Shall I share this? Put this on
bring her back, and we'll talk about the websites and.
Okay. All right. Here's
stuff. And
I didn't mean that in a sexual way, by the way.
Oh my. Oh, okay, I'm here. I'm back.
Here we go. Well, that was fun.
Well, I would like to leave you guys with something. There's a little saying, it's always like the random acts of kindness. Remove the random, and it's always acts of kindness, because that's who we truly are.
Awesome. Thank you.
We can be.
So tell us what's the website you want to send people if they want to learn more?
Yes, it's called universalnuances.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Shadow Fox. Both of you have been absolutely fantastic. And of course, I knew that before I even turned on the computers in the studio that you're going to be awesome.
I just thank you so very much for the work you're doing. It's like my heart, it just goes out to you, and I'm almost in tears because you are such a beautiful person. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. And I hope that this show will go viral, just like a show that I did on YouTube last Friday. It has gone viral. Just in a few days, we had like 8,000 viewers, which is something, because we have shows that have 50, 60,000 views, but it takes some time to get that many views. But hopefully,
we're definitely gonna help.
Hopefully, this may go viral because of what we're talking about, and more people are interested. So what I want to say to the viewers is that if you were touched, moved, and inspired by anything that Shadow Fox or Lee Two Hawks talked about this evening, please go to their website. Also, come to the show at Conscious Evolution Media on YouTube. Keep watching it. The more you're watching it, the more the potential we have that it will go to the top 10 every month. If it makes it to the top 10, it has the potential to go to public television and also to the new network that we're going to be joining. And I can't announce it yet because I'm bound by contract that I can't announce it until it launches. So we'll talk about that more. And thank you so much for everybody for being here. I love the both of you. I love all of our viewers. I love the network. And we'll see you guys again here next week. The next show will be Monday, and then it just continues on every day. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Go Broncos. We're going to win on Sunday. I'm declaring it right now. That's just what has to happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.